Imagine waking up exactly 1,000 years from today. The year is 3026. The cities around you don't look like the cities we know today. Transportation is almost silent. Artificial intelligence is embedded into everyday life. Humans may live in places that don't exist yet, on the moon, Mars, or enormous habitats orbiting Earth. But the strangest thing might not be the technology. It might be us. Because after 1,000 years of technological, biological, and cultural change, would the people of 3026 still look and think like us? To understand the future, we have to look at the past. 1,000 years ago, humans lived in a completely different world. There were no airplanes, no electricity grids, no modern medicine, no computers, and no internet. Someone living in the year 1026 would probably struggle to understand our world. And yet, biologically, they were still human. That tells us something important. Technology can transform civilization incredibly quickly, even when biology changes very slowly. The biggest transformation over the next millennium may not come from rockets or robots. It may come from intelligence. Artificial intelligence is already becoming part of science, medicine, engineering, education, and entertainment. Over centuries, increasingly capable AI systems could become something much more fundamental: infrastructure for civilization itself. Instead of using computers as separate tools, humans might interact with intelligence continuously through wearable devices, neural interfaces, or systems integrated directly into their environments. The boundary between human intelligence and machine intelligence could become increasingly difficult to define. But technology doesn't only change the world around us, it can eventually change the human body itself. Medicine is already moving toward gene editing, artificial organs, advanced prosthetics, and personalized treatments. Over the next 1,000 years, those technologies could become dramatically more sophisticated. Humans might be able to prevent many diseases that are currently unavoidable. Artificial organs could become routine. Some people might choose genetic modifications or technological implants, but there's an important distinction. These possibilities are not predictions, they're potential directions. The future of humanity will depend not only on what technology allows, but on what society decides is acceptable. And then there is the biggest change of all. Humanity could stop being a single planet species. The first permanent settlements beyond Earth may begin with the Moon and Mars. Eventually, enormous orbital habitats could become more practical than trying to terraform an entire planet. These habitats could contain artificial gravity, agriculture, manufacturing, homes, and entire communities. Over centuries, civilization could spread throughout the solar system, not because humans suddenly become superhuman, but because infrastructure slowly expands. One settlement becomes two, two become 10, and eventually, Earth is no longer the only place where human civilization exists. But humanity's future won't only be about leaving Earth. It will also be about protecting it. Climate change, biodiversity loss, resource consumption, and population changes could force civilization to rethink how it uses the planet. By 3026, Earth could potentially be far more technologically managed than today. Energy production could become dramatically cleaner. Agriculture could require much less land. Cities could become denser and more efficient. And large areas of the planet could potentially be restored to ecosystems. But none of this is guaranteed. 1,000 years is long enough for civilization to transform Earth completely, for better or worse. There is, however, one problem with trying to predict the year 3026. We don't know what technologies we haven't discovered yet. A person from 1026 couldn't have predicted the internet. They couldn't have imagined a smartphone, GPS, nuclear power, or landing robots on Mars. So perhaps our biggest mistake is assuming the future will simply be a more advanced version of the present. It probably won't. The technologies that define the year 3026 may be things we haven't even imagined. So what will humanity look like in 1,000 years? Maybe we'll live on other worlds. Maybe artificial intelligence will become inseparable from civilization. Maybe humans will modify their bodies and biology. Or maybe the future will look completely different from anything we can imagine. But there is one thing we can say with some confidence. The people of 3026 will look back at us the same way we look back at people from 1026, as the beginning of something much larger. Because the story of humanity isn't just about where we've been, It's about how far a civilization can go if it survives long enough to find out.